So, it's been the final Saturday of Series 10, and we have The Doctor Falls, an episode promising us regeneration that we don't get. Spoilers to follow, so please, if you haven't watched the episode yet, go and do it now, because this is gonna, from here on in, anything's up for grabs when it comes to spoilers. But without further ado, let me begin my immediate thoughts and reaction about The Doctor Falls, which I hate to say, I knew it wasn't going to be as good as World Enough in Time, so I had gone in with lower expectations, especially after the whole Heaven Sent and Hell Bent debacle. And there's a lot of things to unpack here, some of it good, some of it bad. So I'm going to start, I think the best place, I'm going to try to start a good thing, bad thing, maybe try to alternate them so this isn't all doom and gloom, because this is very much an episode of just a handful of good things and a handful of really, really bad things. First, good things. I have to say, Peter Capaldi's performance in this one is excellent. I mean, Moffat really knows how to get this Doctor written for. The way he cares for Bill, and his complete arrogance and pride that is probably going to play as his downfall in the Christmas special, is written for brilliantly, as he thinks he can save Bill. He wants to save her. It was probably one of the better bits of Hell Bent, except when he was acting out as the Doctor. But this is the pride as the Doctor would. And I do quite like the scene in the TARDIS where he's like, I don't want to go, and this time the TARDIS actually says, no. You have to go this time. So we actually get some of the Doctor being more of the Doctor. We're not having a repeat of Tennant's regeneration, which that is good. And Capaldi, of course, has those moments where he's just excellent as the Doctor. He performs well, and he knows exactly what his character is supposed to be, and where exactly he's going, where he's been. It's just a generally good performance, I have to say, from Capaldi this time around, and I'm very glad that the guy got really a good chance to be the Doctor one final time, because the Christmas special is interesting. Now that was a good thing. Now let's go off into a bad thing. Mainly the fact that I think Moffat had this awful habit, has the big problem in this episode, of stuffing this 60-minute episode full of far too much plot. Now, 60 minutes even could have been enough to even maybe do these 3 plots justice, but he has 3 plot lines going. He has the Cybermen invading, Bill being saved, and the conclusion of Missy turning good. And guess what? Those are all wrapped up in 55 minutes, and 5 minutes is devoted to the Doctor. And to the Doctor, which may as well be the 4th plot. It's just, the episode is far too cluttered with stuff that could be good plots. Some don't, which I will get to later. Don't worry. But it's too much for one episode to have that much plot devoted to it. Just that it's just Moffat can't write the plots into he just can't seem to wrap them into a nice little bow. I mean, at least this time he doesn't go to the Clara route of being, and suddenly the Doctor forgets everything, because why not? Yeah, that's just kind of dumb. On to another good thing. Bill as a Cyberman. Now, this is about for the first, I'd say, 40 minutes of the episode, when she is a Cyberman. And I have to say, this also goes into the direction. Pearl Mackie does a great job as Bill. What's nice is that we sort of flip from the way that everyone else is seeing Bill as, the Cyberman, and the way Bill is seeing Bill. And I do like the explanation that, living under the monks for so long in Lie of the Land at least came back. Because that was one of the better parts of Lie of the Land, that it was Bill working her way through the hypnosis. That's what's sort of stopping the cyber programming, which that's a much better way to stop cyber programming than the power of love. And considering these are 10th planet Cybermen, so they are much less advanced than quite a lot of the other Cybermen, that, it's quite a good way of doing it, at least in my opinion. Pearl Mackie gives this excellent performance as we see a lot of it from her perspective. She thinks she's Bill, and it's not like in Asylum of the Daleks where you just have one scene of Clara realizing she's Osmond realizing she's in a Dalek. This one, you get her to, she knows, but she doesn't want to admit it. It's one of those, it's almost heartbreaking, and I really, really like it, but I also like how Bill is strong-willed enough to actually try to hold on to her humanity as long as she can, because obviously she's already lived through aliens screwing with her head, and these are getting older Cybermen, so that's actually pretty good, that I have to say. I really like that when it comes to Bill. The bad thing is actually about the Cybermen. Moffat puts in almost too much fan wink, and that isn't necessarily a problem. Like, some of the references I did like, there was a reference to the World Shapers, which, well, that does two things. That means that there's a faction of Cybermen that come from Marinus. No, but there's three things. Faction of Cybermen that comes from Marinus. Two, it means that an older version of Jamie is dead, and three, for the best thing, it makes that a certain space penguin is alive, and maybe Chibnall will let him appear. Cough, cough, bring in Frobisher. Start the hashtag, Twitter it, everywhere, please. Bring in Frobisher. I like Frobisher as a character. But the problem is, and we're getting into even more spoiler territory, so remember, if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it and come back. One final warning. Moffat basically mentions World Shapers, and he also sort of mentions spare parts. Now, here's the thing about spare parts, is at the end of spare parts, spoilers for spare parts, again, if you haven't listened to spare parts, please, until, for the next 24 hours when this is up, it's 99 cents on the Big Finish website to download. Please go download it and watch it, listen to it. Anytime after that, it's $2.99 on the Big Finish website, and it's also on Spotify for you to listen to. So go to one of those three places and listen to it before I continue. Are you gone? Good. So at the end of spare parts, it's revealed, the Doctor finds a way to take the already converted Cybermen and start to unconvert them. Now, it's only ever stopped because the last few humans alive at the time, sorry, that was fireworks outside my window, alive at the time, are converted into Cybermen when one of the Cybermen totally converted is awful. This makes Bill's big conclusion of the story just fall apart, and I'll get to the why that I don't like your conclusion. That if you wanted to let Bill live, even though it would hurt the drama of your story, I personally think Bill should have died, especially considering Moffat is quote-unquote famous for killing off of his characters, even though I'll get to that even later on why Moffat isn't one to kill off of his characters, because he just has never killed off a companion and really let them stay dead. I may as well go into that now. First off, Amy and Roy, sure, they're dead after living a long and happy life together. And then you have Clara. Oh, she's dead when she decides, this immortal life isn't for me anymore. Now I'm going to go back and let myself die, which, again, and now you have Bill, who is saved at the last minute by Heather from the pilot. A literal Deus Ex Machina. Now, Pearl Mackie, the actress who played Heather, I'm not sure who that actress is, because she was there, but she didn't give... They have a decent chemistry together, and, I could believe them as lovers. Even in this one, I could believe them as lovers. They work better than they actually kind of did in the pilot, for the most part, as the pilot was more about the Doctor and Bill. But she saves... It's a dumb conclusion. It lets Bill live forever. Again. Seriously, what the hell, Moffat? Moffat, if you're going to try to kill off a character, let them stay dead. This isn't as bad as Clara and Hellbent. Trust me, it really, really isn't. But you undercut the ending of World Enough in Time where you have Bill dying. Now, it'd be better if at least the Doctor partially unconverted her, and then she was human, and then Heather showed up and said, oh, now I can do the rest. That would have softened the blow a bit, but just really, Moffat, it doesn't... I don't like what you're doing with this. You're making her live. It's almost like you saw the the stupid reaction on Twitter about how it's hashtag bury your gays. And you're like, nah, we're changing it at the last minute. Right, basically Moffat just can't kill off a character. That was awful. But there is one more good thing about the episode, and I have two more good things and one more bad, two more bad things. Two of those are quick. Two of those are going to take a little while. So, we'll start with one of the good things. Actually, Nardole actually got a really, really good exit this one. It seems that he's actually gone for the season, electing to stay behind on the planet and in the ship and help them fight off, which is really good. At least he wasn't there at the end of the episode, so I have to say that he actually got a really good exit, and I think I might have misjudged Matt Lucas's character. The bad thing that comes along with that is, Michelle Gomez as Missy turns good. She's flip-flopping a lot between bad and good, and it just seems that she's good. She ends up killing her earlier self. That's how John Simp regenerates? Really? That's kind of dumb. And yeah, it doesn't work for the character at all. Missy isn't supposed to be a good person. She's the master. John Sim was actually pretty good as the master. He wasn't perfect. He was about as good as Anthony Ainley in some of Ainley's weaker stories. But he was still closer. I also have to say, I really hated all the teasing of the Doctor maybe being a woman in the future. Ooh. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But I do have one more good thing to say, is that the cliffhanger has me really, really excited for the Christmas special, as it shows. And Dylan, you can kill me for, ever doubting you, even though, it was practically confirmed when we recorded that podcast to last week's episode. David Bradley is the first Doctor. That would have been amazing if why couldn't they just push back the Christmas special filming a little bit, or film some stuff inside until after this, so we could be like, oh my gosh, it was true. And, we didn't have we didn't have the surprise ruined for us by the leaked set pictures. That being said, that's really all I have to say about the Doctor Falls. It has a lot of good stuff. It has a lot of bad stuff. And unlike, say, Lie of the Land, where I thought it was average and it goes down, I think this one's just average. It's a 5 out of 10. That's all I can say. I mean, thanks for watching. Please leave a like. Comment if you disagree with me, if you think this was the best episode ever in the case of people like, I don't know, Daniel, or the worst episode ever in the case of people like Dylan. And please don't forget to subscribe. I guess I'll see you at Christmas. There'll be streams of Doom in the future, and the marathon is still going on, but Series 10 has been a step in the right direction, and here's hoping Chibnall will cast a good Doctor, and we can get a good Series 11.